welcome. Welcome to my Sunday weekly live stream, episode number 7. I'm really glad you could be with me today. I want to welcome my partner, Barbie Angel. That's with 2 L's. Barbie's a great poet, as I've told you before, and she's been voted the best poet in Western North Carolina for 8 or 9 years in a row. And if I'm factually incorrect there, tough. It's real close to 8 or 9 years in a row. Barbie will be dropping URLs into the comment section today, and she'll be answering any questions or responding to any issues you might have. I'd like to just point out the fact that since this is a ticketless show, this is completely on the honor system, and it's a pay what you want, pay what you can show. So any tips that you can throw into the tip jar would be greatly appreciated. As I've mentioned before, this is my one and only means of making an income these days, since my tour schedule has been completely shut down for the foreseeable future. But I'm sure glad I can connect with you this way by live streaming. So before I play the first song, I would love to know where you're watching from. If you could put that in the comments. And hope you enjoyed today's show.
Round the phenom cameras flash, even when he just plays catch. Way off down the third base line, the fans have things for him to sign. Spotlight follows him around, same thing in every town. Journalists and TV crews, articles and interviews. Phenom in his senior year, not even old enough to drink a beer. Hit 100 on the radar gun, with a changeup there was 91. Even then he'd pack the stands with as many scouts as there were fans. Every pitch they charted and graphed, he was the first pick of the draft. Guaranteed, whether or not he ever succeeds. His teammates draw $1,000 a month. Sometimes a phenom picks up the tab for lunch. Well, you can't blame him, it's not his fault. The team was willing to open the vault. No question the kid can pitch. Someday he might make all of them rich. On this kid they bet the farm, and on his 24-carat arm. Now every hiccup is a cause for alarm. You better not step on the foul line. You better rub your lucky charms. A luxury car along the road to being a star. There's a guy in every neighborhood bar showing off his elbow scar. He can't miss, say the analysts. No one's ever seen anything like this. on the foul line. Better rub your lucky charms. Sometime around the end of May, they drove up to Double A. And it was the same night or day, rain or shine, home or away. Every game is a sellout crowd. The kid keeps getting the batters out. The talk show callers all say so. Phenom's ready for the show. Yeah, the talk show callers all say so. Phenom's ready for the show. The Phenom. I'd like to mention that if you're interested in picking up any of my recordings, CDs are available through my website, chuckbrodsky.com, and digital downloads are available on a pay-what-you-want basis at bandcamp.com. Barbie will drop the URL for that into the comments right now. I wrote this next song because of a photograph that I saw at my parents' house when I was visiting during Thanksgiving a bunch of years ago. It was the first, the picture had only recently been put out, and it was put out amongst a bunch of family photos on top of the piano in the living room, and I asked my mom who this photo was of because it was a man holding a musical instrument, and this is where family photos went, and I had never seen it before. My mom told me it was my great-great-grandfather, who was a musician in Russia. And so I took that and I ran with it. I wrote this song here. An old photograph, it's in your eyes. The treble clef, the key, the ties. Would there be any more of you in the family line who played music too? And did you stray a little from the score? Did you try and add anything more? Did you ever make things up? Just little riffs and stuff. What kind of music did you play? The kind that makes hard times go away? Ancient tunes that were passed along? Was there anybody writing songs? Did people think of you as odd? Did they think it came from the devil or from God? Did they ever tell you to keep quiet? And did you suffer when you had to deny it? People probably didn't play guitars. There wouldn't have been any popular stars who'd come around, who you'd have heard. There wasn't a way to spread the word. Nobody had a radio, record player, or a stereo. No iPods, no CDs, no cassettes, no TVs. You had a violin, you had a bow. How far away did you have to go to get to where no one else could hear? You could play it loud and clear. Did you have such a secret place where you could go and know the grace? A riverbank or a favorite tree, a place where you could just be free. Well, I go from town to town, little glimpses are all I found. Would you recognize these sounds? Are these the old songs handed down? sit and play? Would everyone and everything go away? Was there anyone else who understood? Anywhere in the neighborhood, or anywhere else for miles around, the next little village, or even the next town. Did he ever see the city 20 miles away? Did he ever get to hear an orchestra play? And in the village market, with a few little shops, could you get a new string if one ever popped? Your first violin, who gave it to you? Was it handed down, or was it made for you? Did you get to go and pick it out in the local shops? Were Jews allowed? Did your parents have to sacrifice for years? Was it music to their ears? As I go from town to town, little glimpses are all I found. Would you recognize these sounds? Are these the old songs handed down? Stars, those same constellations, the very same Mars. Not talk about neocons or about czars. All I wanna do is pick the guitar. You can tune up that fiddle, rousing the bow, and if you want, we can give it a go. Now I wonder who you'd be today, or I'd be back then, and what we might play, a gypsy tune or a Russian waltz, one of mine or something classical. But for now, I'll blow kisses, for now I'll send love. And if you can listen from somewhere above, I hope you can hear that it comes from a place, an old photograph, a familiar face.
I've had some requests over the last few weeks for this next song here, and I guess this will be a good time to mention that if you do have any requests, please put them in the comments section, or feel free to send me an email or a Facebook message and let me know what you'd like to hear. This is about a traveling partner of mine. One string right. It's about my traveling partner who my ex-wife really did not like.
Says my wife, she's who you trust with your life. Listen to her more than you do me. I said, you just tell me where to go, but how to get there, you don't know. She never asks if we can stop and pee. Yeah, I think that other gal knows best. North and south, east and west, I hardly pay attention anymore. In bed sometimes I hear her voice, British Emily, not Australian Joyce. And my dreams would take a little detour. Once she told me to turn onto a dirt road, but all night long it had just snowed. Not even the highway had been plowed. Well, I did not turn, it kept going straight. She kept saying recalculate, make a U-turn when loud. Well, sometimes we might disagree. All the while she yells at me, and nothing I yell back will shut her up. I call her a whore, I call her a witch. I call time out and I flip the switch for some peace and quiet she can't interrupt. Well, satellite connection dropped. I pulled over and the stop Spaghetti Junction was coming up ahead. It's been years since I last had a map all spread out across my lap, and I wished it could have talked to me instead. Rams to the left and rams to the right, there wasn't another soul in sight. It wasn't whizzing by at 75. My teeth were clenched, my knuckles white. That's when we had another big fight. She refused to say which way to drive. Well, sometimes we might disagree, all the while she yells at me, and nothing I yell back will shut her up. I call her a whore, I call her a witch, I call time out and I flip the switch for some peace and quiet she can't interrupt. Well, now one time when I drove all day, just one road a long, long way, I got caught up in thinking, as you do. When she froze to death, I did not know I'd missed my exit hours ago, and I never even saw her face turn blue. Like a lot of older songs, this one here has a bit of an adult verse to it, and if you think that's something that might upset you, just hold your ears for a minute. Well, I mount her and I turn her on, and she tells me I'm her Don Juan in ways only my Emily can do. Oh, that's her out there in the car, the one who does know where we are, and it turns out all she needed was a screw. Well, sometimes she might disagree, all the while she yells at me. Nothing I yell back will shut her up. A Phillips head. I call her a whore, I call her a witch, call time out and I flip the switch for some peace and quiet she can't interrupt. Well, that other woman says my wife, she's who you trust with your life. Listen to her more than you do me. Well, it's true I do, she knows the route. She's the one that has the mute. She came with an extended warranty. My British Emily.
I'd like to introduce you to Emily right now. She's got to wake up. Wake up, Emily. There she goes. Say hi. See, that's her. Where to? I don't know. But that's Emily. That's my British Emily. I have a new baseball song, and it's very timely, I suppose. It's about the all-girls professional baseball league, All-American Girls Professional Baseball League that played in the 1940s and early 1950s. And I want to just thank my good friend Tim Wiles, who is a former director of research at the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. Tim is the one who first planted this idea in my head many years ago. It took me probably 15 or 20 years to get around to writing it, but thank you, Tim, for the idea. It's called The Country Needed Baseball.
Baseball, the boys were overseas, fighting with the Germans and the Japanese. Just beyond the outfield, the flag blew in the breeze. The girls were wearing blouses with their shirts above the knees. Baseball, and the girls were really good. The sounds were therapeutic of the cowhide meeting wood. They hustled and got dirty, skinned their elbows and their knees. And for a couple precious hours, people's minds could be at ease. Baseball like you'd need a cigarette when you've gone too long without one, but you still can't have one yet. And your loved one's in the trenches with a gun and bayonet, and you're stuck there waiting to corner luncheonette. Country needed baseball to give itself a lift. Not every patriotic woman had to fill a factory shift. Some could hit a curveball, others could throw strikes. Some would bowl you over, or they'd cut you with their spikes. Country needed baseball on Sunday afternoons. Stadiums would fill up, there'd be banners and balloons. There was Cracker Jack and peanuts, hot dogs, beer and coke. Just like when the boys played, it all tastes like cigar smoke. Country needed baseball. Country needed baseball. Country needed baseball. Country needed baseball.
And it does. I think next week I'm going to make it an all baseball song show in honor of opening day the following weekend. July 23rd is going to be opening day this year. So next Sunday I'll be doing an all baseball song show. And then I might even do an all baseball show the week after because I got way too many songs for one show. I'm going to switch instruments here. Move over to the piano. Hang on a second here. That should do it. Oh, let me fix that. Here we go. So this is a song for my friends up in Nova Scotia, Guysborough County, my Halifax friends as well. This is for all of you. It's about a man who was very dear to me that I met many years ago at the Stan Rogers Folk Festival in Nova Scotia, Canso, Nova Scotia. He was out in the audience blowing kisses at me, and turns out he was developmentally disabled, and I wrote this song for him. As soon as I got home from the festival that year, and when the people that ran the festival heard it, they brought me back the very next year, and they brought Arthur Christie out on stage to blow kisses at the audience while I sang this song. So it's called The Man Who Blew Kisses.
Stood out in the crowd. He wasn't so tall, he wasn't loud. I could not tell you how he was dressed, but of everyone there, I remember him best. The man who blew kisses was simple and free. He never considered how people might see him. Walked on the water, swam through the air, with no trepidation, without a care. The man who blew kisses lived in a home. He isn't allowed to go out on his own, but wherever they take him, he's happy to go. He loves everybody, and he lets them all know. The man who blew kisses, he blew them at me. It tickled my heart, and I buckled my knee. Made my voice crack, and it righted all wrongs. I blew kisses back at the end of the songs. front of the stage. Knew nothing of jealousy and nothing of rage, nothing of prejudice and nothing of shame. He had never been broken, he had never been tame. Now the man who blew kisses, he misses some things. He was catching my drift, he had air in his wings. His head was a-rocking, he was clapping his hands. He was stomping his feet and he was doing the dance. So the man who blew kisses, he eats tulips for lunch. Probably rainbows, but that's just a hunch. Sunshine and pixie dust mixed in his punch. And daisies for breakfast he picks by the bunch. So the man who blew kisses, he'll blow them at you. He blows them at anyone, no matter who. So I thought to myself in the middle of all this, that the song I was singing, it was but a kiss.
I'll stay on the piano for one more song here. This is a song you might know as a guitar song. Haven't written a piano song yet. I will soon, but all the songs I play on piano these days are songs that are guitar songs normally, and I'm just trying to give them a whirl on the piano. So here's one.
There's a standoff all across the Great Divide, with friends and family members on both sides. If someone struck a match, it would combust, scorching everyone, both them and us. It's raining dirty words and disrespect. It's not having any positive effect. The bridges have collapsed because of rust. We can't reach each other, them and us. We've got our earplugs in and our blinders on. We wonder, where have all the flowers gone? Where once there was a garden cool and lush, all that's left here now is them and us. And I've never felt so lonely in this world as I do when all those banners are unfurled. The airwaves are just spewing all that stuff about us and them. Look what it's done to us. Differences are few and overblown. This sometimes leads to punches being thrown. There seems to be a few things to discuss, but you can't say a word to them or us. We write them off because of how they vote. Cause they came on a boat. turn our backs with contempt and with disgust at every one of them that isn't us. We identify them by the clothes they wear. We identify them by their skin and hair. And we look for any reason not to trust. Whatever about them is not like us. And I've never felt so lonely in this world as I do when all those banners are unfurled. Those airwaves are just spewing all that stuff about us and them. Look what it's done to us. Thoughtful, decent people turning mean. If only all our gods could intervene. There seems to be a few things to control. Maybe they could make us whole, them and us. And I've never felt so lonely in this world as I do when all those banners are unfurled. And those airwaves are just spewing all that stuff about us and them. Look what it's done to us. There's a standoff all across the Great Divide, with friends and family members on both sides.
So I have a couple of new songs that go with that. Let me just get this camera right. Since there are only two types of people anymore, thems and us's. Hang on a second. So I think this goes very well with that last song. In fact, the next two songs will go with that last song. Both new songs. Here's this one's called Half the People.
Well, half the people are looking to rumble, and the other half are spoiling for a fight. The logic that they're using is all jumbled, but who needs facts when you know you're right? Half the people nowadays are bunkers, and the other half have all gone insane. Everybody everywhere looks angry. They need to blame somebody for their pain. Now half the news you get today is phony, and the other half you get today is fake. But what's real is the independent journalist who gets tortured but refuses to break. Half the people have lost their marbles, and the other half have all lost their minds. On top of that, we've become so heartless. Underneath it all, we must have lost our spines. Half the people are just plain cuckoo, and the other half are just plain Looney Tunes. Bite your tongue, you can't talk sense to any of them. They hate you when you burst their balloons. Now half the people have gone crazy, and the other half have all gone mad. Well, I could make a fortune selling bridges if I hadn't sold the last one that I had. Well, half the people have no idea, and the other half, they haven't got a clue. They'll believe anything anyone will tell them, unless it can be proven to be true. Half the people are just plain cuckoo, and the other half are just plain Looney Tunes. Bite your tongue, you can't talk sense to any of them. Well, they hate you when you burst their balloons. Now half the people are talking rubbish, and the other half, they're all just talking crap. You've got to be careful and remind yourself not to take the bait, step into the trap. 'Cause half the people nowadays are bunkers, and the other half have all gone insane. Everybody everywhere looks angry. They need to blame somebody for their pain. Well, half the people are just plain cuckoo, and the other half are just plain Looney Tunes. Bite your tongue, you can't talk sense to any of them. Oh, they hate you when you burst their balloons. Oh, they hate you when you burst their balloons.
Well, since we are split right down the middle these days, it's awfully hard to have conversations with people who don't share your political viewpoints, and it's even harder to get anybody to change their minds over to your viewpoint. And I have tried just about every approach possible, but I have finally come up with one that works. And maybe this will be good for you too.
After 3 or 4 tries, I poked out his eyes. That's how I got him to see. To get him to hear, I screamed in his ear, and I gave him the 3rd degree. Well, I partly rated him. I told him I hated him. I wasn't very kind. I shouted and cussed until I won his trust, and that's how I changed his mind. I shunned him, ignored him, I wouldn't look toward him, I only would give him my back. I accused him of lies, I would not compromise, I erased him after the fact. Well, I was abrupt, I would often interrupt, and we were volatile when combined. And then stating my case, I blew up in his face, and that's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. I blamed him, shamed him, insulted and inflamed him. That's how I changed his mind. Now this man was an ass. I was gonna let him pass, let him take a wide berth of me. But I was right and he was wrong, like I was telling him all along, trying to just get him to see. But he's a this and I'm a that, so we couldn't have a chat of the friendly, civilized kind. Round after round, I just ground him down, and that's how I changed his mind. I stomped on his toes and I punched him in the nose. I was using irony. So sure of the truth, I knocked out his tooth and I kicked him twice in the knee. I won over his his heart with a poisonous dart, and you should have seen me unwind, being overly cruel and with ridicule. Oh, that's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. Blamed him, shamed him, insulted and inflamed him. That's how I changed his mind. And so I called him a fool, challenged him to a duel, threw my white glove in his face. 20 paces and I shot, and I must have hit the spot. Anyway, that's how I pleaded my case. Well, I won in the end after making him bend, and after all the papers were signed, in the end I won. Yeah, that's how it was done. Well, that's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. Blamed him, shamed him, insulted and inflamed him. That's how I changed his mind. Yeah, I blamed him, shamed him, I might have even maimed him. That's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind. That's how I changed his mind.
And it works. It works every time, I promise. Before I play this next song, I just want to mention that I'm available for songwriting lessons, for guitar lessons, and for private concerts all over Zoom. And if this is something that might interest you, get in touch with me. I'd love to help you with your songwriting or your guitar playing in particular. And all you need to do for a Zoom concert is get a little group of people together. You can all be in your own homes, on your own couches, or in your own beds. And we'll meet half an hour before the show and socialize a little bit. Socialize a little bit after the show. So, it's not quite like being there in person, but it's the closest thing we have these days, and it's actually a lot of fun. You also can support me by becoming a patron on my Patreon page, patreon.com. Barbie will drop that URL into the comments section. Patreon's a fabulous platform these days. It's a way that you make a pledge for a monthly amount that you'll support me with, and I post things there, such as brand new songs or songs in progress, stories, photos, all sorts of things that I won't be sharing elsewhere, but I'll give my patrons exclusive access and a little bit more of a glimpse into my world and why some of these songs needed to be written. So you can pledge as little as $1 a month or up to any amount you want. And I really appreciate everybody that supports me in any way that you might. Particularly important is the tip jar today. As I mentioned earlier, this is my only means of earning a living these days. And I'm actually loving it. I'm having a great time. I miss being out on the road and seeing people and playing for you in person. But I just love the fact that when I say goodbye to you, I'm 10 steps from my bedroom. That's pretty great. I don't have to drive anywhere. Don't have to spend money. But I do need to earn money. And so that's why the tip jars are there. And whatever you care to put into them would be greatly appreciated. Here's another baseball song. This one goes back to 1908. We all know that you're supposed to, runner has to touch his base, even on a home run. If there's a base runner before that home run's hit, he has to touch all the bases. So does the batter who hit that home run. Well, Fred Merkle, Bonehead Merkle, that was the nickname they gave him because, as you'll hear from this song, the winning hit was made and Merkle was on base, and the runner from third scored, and that was the winning run, and so Merkel never touched second. He went straight to the clubhouse, and that caused the game to have to be replayed. Merkel's team lost, and they lost by 1 game. It ended up costing them the pennant. Here is a 1908 Fred Merkel baseball card. Don't worry, I didn't have to pay too much for it, but I had to have it. It's not in it's not in highly valuable condition. It's not in bad condition, but it's not in like big money condition. So I was able to get it for pretty cheap. And this is called Bonehead Merkel because that was the nickname that fell on him after this particular play.
September 23rd, 1908. Cubs against the Giants. Giants at the plate. Bridwell came to bat. There were 2 outs and 2 on. It was the bottom of the 9th, and the infield was drawn. 2 weeks left in the season. Classic pennant race. The Giants had a 1-game lead, and the Cubs were giving chase. Polo grounds were rocking. The score was tied at 1. Moose McCormick was on third base, and he was the winning run. Which brings us to Fred Merkel, whose name would soon be cursed. He was the other runner. He took his lead off first. Bridwell drilled a line drive out into right center. McCormick walked the room. Giants were the winners. Both polo grounds erupted. Thousands rushed the field. Players all ran for their lives with the fans right on their heels, and Merkel was halfway to second by the time McCormick scored. Then Merkel made a beeline straight for the clubhouse door. Well, the door to the clubhouse, it was in the outfield wall. Merkel never did touch second, and the Cubs retrieved the ball. Throw back to the infield, reached the wrong couple of hands. Giants coach McGinnity put the ball up in the stands, and after a long deliberation, the ump ruled Merkel out. It would take too long to clear the field of this unruly crowd. Since night games were unheard of then, it would soon be dark. He called the game a 1-1 tie and would have to sneak away from the park. The Giants manager McGraw argued that this Rule 59 never was enforced. Why should it be this time? But only 2 weeks earlier, ran on all the wires. The same play happened to the Cubs and to the very same umpire. But none of the New York papers deemed the story fit to print. So it was, thanks to them, their team was ignorant. But all throughout the baseball world and elsewhere, people knew it. The runner has to touch his base, and Merkel didn't do it. So the matter was turned over to the baseball powers that be, who upheld the ump's decision. They ruled prophetically that if the season were to end with the Cubs and Giants tied, they'd have to replay the Merkel game so first place could be decided. Well, they replayed the Merkel game, and fee-fi, fo-fum, the Giants lost the pennant. Merkel was the bum. The papers let him have it. They gave it to him good. They ran the kind of headlines only New York papers could. They dubbed him Bonehead Merkel. They made up Merkel words. One might pull a Merkel, and to Merkel became a verb. Someone yelled, touch second, Bonehead, when he stood on first. Little kids yelled, moron, and the older kids much worse. Well, it haunted him his whole life, until 42 years later, in front of 35,000 former Merkel haters, back there at the Polo Grounds for an old-timers game. It was a long-standing ovation when they announced Fred Merkel's name. Let's see here. Don't forget, let me know where you're watching from, and let me know any requests that you might have for future shows. Like I mentioned earlier, next week's show is going to be an all-baseball song in honor of opening day coming up the following weekend, or the midweek.
Here's another baseball song for you. It's about one of the most interesting characters to ever play Major League Baseball. His name was Mo Berg. He was a third-string catcher back in the 20s and had a career that lasted about 15 years, and he became a coach. But he spoke 11 languages fluently, including Russian and Japanese. And when an all-star team got sent to Japan in the early 1930s, because Mo Berg spoke Japanese, he was sent as one of the catchers. And while over there, he actually was on a mission to spy for the OSS, the forerunner to the CIA. And Mo Berg took photographs of some military installations in the Tokyo skyline that proved very instrumental in some bombing raids later. I was invited to sing this song when Mo Berg was inducted into the Jewish American Hall of Fame, which was held in Washington, D.C. at what then was the brand new International Spy Museum. And they had a couple of other speakers that day, including the woman who was curator of the CIA museum. You might not have known there was a CIA museum, because you and I cannot go there. You have to actually be a CIA employee to have access to their museum. But Mo Berg's baseball card is on display in that museum, and they brought the curator there. And before I had a chance to sing my song, the curator spoke, and she had brought along Mo Berg's original application for employment with the OSS, and she showed it on an overhead projector. And, well, I'll stop for a second and I'll just fill you in on one little piece of information. My aunt had told me after she first heard this song years earlier than this event I'm describing. And she had told me that somehow my great-uncle knew Mo Berg, but she didn't remember how. She didn't remember what the connection was. My great-uncle had worked on the Manhattan Project, was a physics professor at UC Berkeley. And so that was probably, that might have been how we knew him. But anyway, years passed, and all I remembered was my aunt telling me that my great-uncle knew Mo Berg. So now I'm at this event, and up there on the overhead projector, the woman flashed all the different pages. I think there were 9 or 10 or 11 pages for Mo Berg's application for employment. And when it got to the part where he had to list 4 personal references, for character references, he named my uncle, my great-uncle, Milton Kahn. And my jaw just hit the floor. Here's a Mo Berg baseball card. It's not a real one, it's a reproduction. Sorry about the focus, but that's it. So this is called Mo Berg the Song.
Mo Berg the catcher, good fielding, no hit. Somehow he lasted 19 years till his knees made him quit. Never really played much, but never really cared. He was happy just to hang around with a uniform to wear. Mo Berg, the Princeton graduate, went on to study law. Got his degree from Columbia, all the while playing ball. The Dodgers came a-calling. They were trying to sign a Jew who could help them sell some tickets in the Bronx and Yonkers too. Mo Berg, the professor of the bullpen, joked with pitchers, reading them newspapers that he used to have delivered. He'd speak to them in Russian, Japanese, and French. He was the greatest scholar that ever rode the bench. Mo Berg and the Babe, they went over to Japan with a team of touring touring all-stars, giving clinics for the fans. This was back in the 30s as the world prepared for war. Mo took a lot of pictures and nobody knew what for. Moberg, the secret agent, he never even told his mom of his mission to determine if the Germans had the bomb. He learned to speak good physics without hardly a lisp. He infiltrated lectures with a top German scientist. Moberg, walking riddle, put his fingers to his lips. If he recognized him on the street, he'd nod and whisper, shh. Kept a lot of secrets that no one will ever know. He knew lots of people, but nobody ever really knew Mo. Moberg, the beloved, he had the gift of gab. He was a moocher, a celebrity who never paid the tab. He could get in at the ballpark on his lifetime player's pass. He could eat up in the press box. Someone always filled his glass. Moberg, son of an immigrant, brought his father shame. All that education, but then he plays a child's game. Mo made it to the majors, but his dad would never go see him. Mo's baseball card is on display at the CIA Museum. Long after he retired, there was still Moberg the myth. He rode into the sunset, sadly hanging on to it. Appearing on a game show as the mystery guest. Some say disappearing might be what Moberg did best.
I'm pretty sure Rob Earl, you were the one that requested this song. There were a couple other people too, but I believe you have asked me a couple of times if I could get around to playing this one. It's from my second album, Letters in the Dirt. So once again, I just mentioned the fact that I have recordings available. All my CDs are available personally through me at chuckbrodsky.com, and all of my digital downloads of my albums are available at bandcamp.com. There are digital tip jars today that you can throw something into if you're so inclined. Also would love to give some guitar lessons, some songwriting lessons or critiques, and some private concerts over Zoom if you're up for that. What else can I tell you? If you live in Western North Carolina, in the Asheville area, this coming Friday night, I will be performing with Chris Rosser backing me up at the Gray Eagle in an outdoor show on the patio, properly socially distanced, with a reduced capacity, but a real live show. And Chris Rosser, if you're not familiar with him, besides being a fantastic songwriter himself, it's his studio that I go to record my albums, and Chris plays fantastic piano and bass and anything with strings on it, so he'll be backing me up. It's kind of ironic to be singing this song because it's a song that definitely is rooted in my previous life, which I may or may not ever get back to. We'll see. But for everybody that's requested this song, and Rob Earl in particular, here, this is for you.
Goodbye, kid. Checks his watch. The hour is late, and the night is hot. He wipes the sweat from off his brow. What time time is it, you ask? And he says, now. Goodbye, kid. On his arm is a coat, in case it gets cold. And he clears his throat. The speech he'd prepared, you were expecting to hear. But then he whispers, I love you, in your ear. I can't leave without these. He reaches under your chair, picks up his keys, says, I don't know how they got there. Now I wish I could stay at least another day more. Says the goodbye kid with one foot out the door. Goodbye, kid. Been around the block looking for a parking place, but couldn't find a spot. Well, that's him out there with the hazards on. The goodbye kid, and he can't stay long. Did you get too close to the goodbye kid? And did he leave too soon? Or was it you who did? And did you take your heart back behind closed doors and listen till you couldn't hear the sound of his engine anymore? Goodbye, kid. Checks his map inside his head that's upon your lap, and he holds your hand while he plans his route. Those places and those dates are so absolute. Goodbye, kid. Well, he's a one-man band. Towns that nobody goes. He does a one-night stand 100 nights in a row. They always end like this. They even start sometimes with a goodbye kiss. Goodbye, kid. Well, he's thinking of you, and you say, sure, and all those other girls too. So where you call him from? He says, at Texaco. The goodbye kid calling to say hello. The goodbye kid, he leaves a rose, a little bud, with his petals still closed. Or would you tend to it? See that it lives? Reads a little card signed by the goodbye kid. Did you get too close to the goodbye kid? Did he leave too soon? Or was it you who did? Did you take your heart back behind closed doors? Listen till you couldn't hear the sound of his engine anymore. Goodbye, kid. Checks his watch. I have two more for you. Here's a brand new one. You may have heard this on one of the previous episodes, but it's very new. The things you think you know, they aren't really so, but you insist they're true. A lot of people do. It would shock you if you knew. You'd be angry too, but that takes letting go of the things you think you know. The things you think you know, you believe them even though they can be disproved, but you're not even moved. It's not what you believe. You can't even conceive of that first domino. The things you think you know. Well, that's what you don't know. The things you think you do. You go on and blow till you're good and blue. I'll tell you even though there's no convincing you. But that's what you don't know. The things you think you do. Yeah, that's what you don't know. The things you think you do. The things you think you know were like that long ago, but not so much today. You really have to go back a ways till there wasn't any gray, and you only had to hope and pray, maintain the status quo. The things you think you know. The things you think you know. Excuse me, but hello? Who's telling you these things? And who's pulling the strings? But who knows more than you? None of the experts do. Well, anyway, there you go. The things you think you know. But that's what you don't know. The things you think you do. You go on and blow till you're good and blue. I tell ya, even though there's no convincing you. Well, that's what you don't know. The things you think you do. Yeah, that's what you don't know. The things you think you do. The things you think you know. The warm and cozy glow is mostly good for show. It gives you comfort though. You keep stoking the fire to get it going higher. You won't let it lie low. The things you think you know. That's what you don't know. The things you think you do. Well, you go on and blow till you're good and blue. I'll tell ya, even though there's no convincing you. Well, that's what you don't know. The things you think you do. Yeah, that's what you don't know. The things you think you do. That's what you don't know. The things you think you do.
Thank you very much for tuning in today, or on whatever day you might have tuned in, since you can always watch the archives of these. I want to thank my partner and assistant, Barbie Angel, with 2 L's. You should check her out on YouTube. Check her for performance videos. I'm going to finish off with a song that I wrote many, many years ago. It's the oldest song I still sing. I wrote this in 1981. Had just hitchhiked from Philadelphia to San Francisco, and I wrote this song in Aquatic Park, San Francisco, the day that I arrived. It's amazing how songs can take on lives of their own. And over the 40 years, 39 years that this song has been alive, it has traveled all sorts of places all over the world. It's been recorded by a lot of people. Kathy Mattea recorded it in a film once. My friend David Lamont recorded it right here in the Asheville Black Mountain area. Sarah Hickman recorded it. The African Children's Choir of Uganda has recorded it. I've recorded it. Thanks for being here today. Really appreciate it. I've had fun singing for you. I hope you've enjoyed the show, and I hope you'll come back next week. I'll be doing an all baseball song in celebration of opening day.
time for me to go. That's my ride that just pulled over, and it sure was good to know you. So go answer calling, go and fill somebody's cup. And if you see an angel falling, why don't you stop and help them up? We are each other's angels, and we meet when it is time. We keep each other going, and we show each other signs. Sometimes you'll stumble, sometimes you'll just lie down. Sometimes you'll get lonely with all these people around. You might shiver when the wind blows, and you might get blown away. You might lose a little color, you might lose a little faith. We are each other's angels, and we meet when it is time. We keep each other going, and we show each other signs. So thank you for the water. Thought I was gonna die out here in the desert, but you quenched my thirst. Let's break a little bread together. Got a little mana. It was a gift from someone who was passing by and offered me a lift. We are each other's angels, and we meet when it is time. Keep each other going, show each other signs.
Stay safe, stay well. Hope to see you next week. Thank you.